I think the favorite part of the process is just going back to like our roots. You try to use wood that would otherwise be tossed or thrown away and just not being useful, either left to rot or left to be mulched or whatever, and seeing that go from that to something that someone can use, sit on, eat their dinner on, hang their headphones on, or just something that can be useful. And it's just super rewarding to find use in something that people would just throw away.
The characteristics, just those little end cuts that would otherwise be binned. I like to see if there's something that could be done with it. So minimize the trash or the waste that is produced. I feel like we should reuse as many things as we can, not only in woodworking, but just with everyday things in our lives.
Hey, my name is Corey. I have a shop in Eustis with my good friend Andre. Grew up in Altamont Springs, and we do all of our woodworking here now.
My name is Andre. I'm also from Altamont Springs. I grew up with Corey in Spring Oaks, hence our name Spring Oaks Studios. We grew up in the neighborhood since we were really young. Now we're here and a shop in Eustis, kind of entertaining our hobby and helping it grow.
We didn't really have a designated spot where we would do our woodworking, so hence the plural of studios. So we would bounce around from Andre's dad's house to my house, and whoever had the tools, we would go to them to do our woodworking.
If I had to go really early, I think it was just the fact of our fathers just kind of walking down the street, borrowing tools from each other, and then us going garbage picking, quote unquote.
During the spring, everyone would throw away old furniture, and we'd kind of call ourselves hyenas because we would pretty much just kind of rummage through what people were throwing away, and we would look at the furniture, see how it was built. We found this really cool chair that was it was made from a oak barrel, and so we were always intrigued by the weird furniture that we would find on the side of the road. And
like he said, we were hyenas kind of roaming the neighborhood and the city, picking up furniture and then rebuilding or seeing how we can remake it.
They would end up mulching a lot of those logs and different pieces of wood that would get thrown out. So we're like, let's try to make some furniture or some cool stuff out of the wood that would otherwise get mulched.
And then later on in college, we decided to make our own little chair, and that's when we really started getting into the idea of building furniture or just working with wood in general.
I mean, our whole life we've really been doing woodworking. Just in the past year or two, we started getting serious with, the tools that we're buying, being more mindful of like what we actually need.
And that's when Corey and I were like, all right, let's really start to do this thing. And we found a destination, this shop, and we bought all our tools, started investing heavily in our tools and everything. I would say this is the start. This is really the beginning. Yeah.
Our essential tools would be the table saw and our sanding equipment, I would say. The track saw that we bought from Pro Cabinet has been amazing. We use that all the time to mill up our lumber. It's super accurate and it's super reliable, cuts the wood like butter, to be honest. So.
The essential tools would be the table saw. We can break down large pieces of lumber into smaller pieces, do it safely, do it accurate. My favorite one would be the Shaper Origin from Pro Cabinet Supply. They really helped us out with that one. It's something that we've always had our eye on, and then they gave us a nice opportunity to have it. It's not as important, I would say, but for me it is very important because I like to take my background and embed it into wood as well. So I've learned how to use Adobe Illustrator and vector files, and so now I get to actually upload those files into a machine that cuts into wood, so it works out. Yeah, very fortunate.
We always go back to Pro Cabinet Supply because they have great tools, great hardware. They have great products like Festool, SawStop. There's a bunch of stuff that they sell that we use. When we're trying to go now from hobbyist more to professional stuff, they have that level of tools.
We see Pro Cabinet Supply as an educational center. They sell us items, but they also teach you about the item. What draws us to it is the fact that they want to teach and they want to help. So if you go in there and you really are looking for an item, they don't just kind of show you an item and then brush you off. You don't get the feeling that they're just trying to sell. You get the feeling that they're really trying to aid you in your hobby or your profession and guide you in the best way. My favorite thing is taking the rough lumber So taking a log from the side of the street, breaking it down into boards, and creating something out of that. But my second part is actually using the cutoffs of those and looking at these funky shapes and trying to see a second life in the second life of a log off the street. I always believe that the functionality should come first and then the looks or the form should come next, because if you build something to properly stand, like a chair or even a house, if you build it right, then you don't need to hide anything with looks. It's already designed to be beautiful. The little project that we made for our friends, we just took a little scrap piece of wood and did a bottom half of epoxy. And this is the process of making mistakes. We wanted it to do it this way and have the light show through up here. It didn't work. And then this genius over here said, let's just do this. And now it really works, and this is how we're gonna start making them.
So with the lounge chair, we got our hands on these walnut slabs that were about 12 feet and 8/4 material. So we used a raw slab that was already dried, and we milled that up, made templates, stenciled the templates onto the lumber. So we put it together, glued it up, and put the Rubio Monocoat finish on. It's a hard wax oil that really brings out the natural tones in the wood, and we got that from Pro Cabinet Supply as well.
Since I grew up with him, hanging out was doing work, so we finally found work that was fun to do and could turn into something. We also work well together because he is a very detailed-oriented individual, and I'm a little bit all over the place. I'll bounce off the walls and everything. I have ideas, but following a step-by-step procedure is not my greatest strong suit, but coming up with funky ideas is, I feel like, something I can see myself being better at. Yeah, too many ideas is actually an issue. Pro Cabinet Supply sees us as a small business growing with a healthy mindset and a proper mindset. So this is probably why we have such a good relationship.
My advice would be just, have patience. You're gonna make mistakes all the time. It's how you, hide them or recover from those mistakes that makes you a good woodworker.
Use resources that are out there. Pro Cabinet Supply was one of our resources. People on YouTube, content creators, are another resource. And I would also just say, take your time, draft out your process, and let the mistakes kind of give yourself lessons.